What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dad Needs to Talk. I'm your host, Robert, and today we are talking a lot of games, especially Pokemon related. So, happy 30th anniversary to all the Pokemon fans out there. Yeah, this episode of Dad Needs to Talk is going to be heavy on the games, heavy on the Pokemon, but I will talk about some other gaming related stuff very briefly. But as always, if this is your first time here, then welcome. But if you're a returning listener and or watcher, then welcome back. Y'all know here at Danny's to Talk, it's all about fatherhood and family, manga, anime, TV shows, movies, and of course, lots of video games. So it is Friday. We are already at the end of freaking February, man. End of February 2026 is crazy that it's already come and gone. Um, and yeah, for the gaming people, for the anime fans, it's a lot of stuff on the horizon to be excited for. Tons of TV shows coming up, man. Like I ain't gonna talk about them today, whatever, because this is a gaming heavy show, but it's like in the last few days I watched this kind of like German spy series called Unfamiliar, Night Agent season 3. I started Cross season 2. I started Paradise season 2. You can kind of tell what type of shows I really like. And then of course, like I am just super eager for the spring anime season. We got new trailers for Witch Hat Atelier and Akane Banashi and so many things. And then of course with video games, um, Resident Evil 9, aka Resident Evil Requiem, came out today. For those of y'all that are into horror games, not your boy, I don't do spooky stuff, but I enjoy it from afar. This weekend, there's a closed beta for Horizon Hunters Gathering. I haven't gotten my invite yet, but I probably put it in super late. So if I get to try it out, cool. If not, I ain't tripping. Marathon is doing their open server slam, so you can download it on Xbox, PlayStation, PC to try out the game because that comes out next week. And yeah, so just a lot of stuff to get ready for, get excited for. And one that I'm like, I'm on the fence about, I know for sure I shouldn't get because I am probably not gonna dive into it, but the temptations are there to, and this will kind of lead us into the Pokemon stuff, but Pokemon Pokopia comes out next week on the 5th. Now, this is the game that is kind of like a mixture of kind of like Pokemon with a little bit of Animal Crossing, a little bit of Dragon Quest Builders, because it has been co-developed with that studio that does the Dragon Quest Builders 1 and 2 series. And man, it is looking so good. They did Nintendo did a Treehouse Live for it a few days ago where they showed like 30 minutes of gameplay, and I've been seeing all the trailers and stuff, and I'm like, man, this game is looking so good. Now, the thing that's kind of giving me pause though is that it is going to be $70. So I'm like, I don't know, but it's springtime. Been doing good at work. Got a little bonus coming, so maybe I might treat myself to it soon. But yeah, so Pokemon Pokopia is coming out in the coming days. Remember, it's only going to be only on Switch 2. So I've been seeing a lot of people upgrading in anticipation of this game as well as Gen 10, which we will talk about shortly. And also, this game does 1 to 4 players, so you can play it solo by yourself, or you can connect online, kind of like you did in Animal Crossing and stuff, and play with friends and stuff. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty exciting. But yeah, like I said, I am on the fence about it. But like I said, like it just looks fun. It just looks fun, but we'll see. I'll report back if I have a change of mind. I do also want to give a quick shout out because there is another game that came out that I downloaded the demo for. It's a game called Under the Island. It kind of gives kind of like a old school Zelda vibe where you play as this young girl. I guess maybe she's like a teenage girl who traveled to this island with her family because her dad had to go there for work, whatever. And she's exploring the island. It's got monsters and different mysterious stuff happening, whatever. There's a demo for it on all platforms: Switch 2, PlayStation, Xbox, etc. Obviously, I got it on Switch just so I could, play it on the go, whatever. And the demo has been super fun. Um, and I'm looking forward to playing more of it. But I just want to put that on people's radar because I know a lot of these like smaller games, just like when I talked about the kind of like Mario RPG inspired game or Paper Mario RPG inspired game Escape from Ever After that came out last month. So yeah, so y'all know your boy always loves to highlight games and stuff. So, but let's go ahead and start diving into Pokemon, man. So there was a handful of announcements and stuff. Obviously, majority of them I don't really care about. Just to be honest with y'all, so I'm primarily gonna be just talking about um, a couple of little announcements and of course the big one being the new games coming out next year. Then after that, I will be talking about my personal history, and that's why I got some nice cool props behind me with some Pokemon cards, my Game Boy Color, my Game Boy Advance SP, and some of my actual old Pokemon games I still have, and talk about my history with the series. So, starting with the big one. So, after lots of rumors and speculation, we finally have our new games, Gen 10, revealed, called Pokemon Winds and Pokemon Waves. They'll be coming out sometime next year in 2027. And a little bit of description on the website. Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da. Uh, the new titles will feature an open world to explore with beautiful windswept islands and a vast ocean with glittering waves. The Pokemon that live in harmony with this region's lush environment have developed their own unique ecosystems. During this adventure, you'll team up with all kinds of Pokemon to uncover both the difficult road ahead and even focus on nature that block your path at times. And so this is kind of like the artwork for the two games. Your main character will sport a different outfit depending on which version of the game you play. And of course, you'll set out with one of three first partner Pokemon, which I'm so happy they show them. So we got the grass type, Brout, the lively but clumsy bean chick Pokemon, the fire type, uh, Pombon, the guileless and friendly puppy Pokemon, and the water type, the intelligent water gecko Pokemon, Gekwa. So, off the gate, I love the design of all three of them. They also show some, who are these two? Some special Pikachu, Mr. Windy Chew and Miss Wavy Chew. Will be involved in the adventure. So we'll have to see what role they play. But yeah, so we got a nice long trailer. I'm not gonna show it on here because I never know how freaking the Nintendo ninjas and stuff will act with different things. So go check out the trailer for yourself. But it looks freaking fantastic. I will show screenshots of the Pokemon and how they're looking in game. So this is Brout, the grass bird, Pombon seems to be the fan favorite for a lot of people. A freaking fire Pomeranian, and then Gekwa. Now myself, I think I might be leaning towards a Gekwa. You know me, your boy, always calm and cool. So I might go with the water one this time. But they all look really cool, which is not always the case. There are some generations to where it's like, okay, there's like one standout, or it's like, okay, one and a half, or a couple of them. It's rare for me that I look at all three and be like, yep, Yep, I would be cool with any of these, at least their starter forms. The evolutions can kind of change how things look, but yeah, game looks super cool, super dope, to say the least. Sucks we gotta wait till next year, but hopefully they take their time and they do things right with the game. So we'll see. Um, Man, so my wife tried to confiscate the Switch, which I'm gonna tell you why in a second. She was like, "Hey, where's the Switch too?" And I was like, "I'm using it for the show." but uh, but yeah. So Gen 10 is real. I am, like I said, super looking forward to it, and yeah, let me know what y'all think of how the games look, at least so far, and which of these of the three starters are you already kind of got your eyes on. So let's see. So another thing from the show, at least that's of interest to me, is they announced that they're bringing the GameCube game Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness to the Nintendo Classics thing in March. So I'm interested in checking this out because growing up, I didn't have a GameCube at home. So I always wanted to play this game. I just never got a chance to really play it growing up. So maybe, I'll check it out when it drops. Um and yeah, I'm trying to think aside from that, like I said, for myself, um, it wasn't a whole bunch of stuff like that Pokemon Champions game that's gonna be on Switch and mobile. They said like the Switch version is coming out in April and then mobile will be later this year. And then they talked about the trading card game and all that stuff, but just being honest, most of that stuff don't really have any interest for me. Now, a big thing that we got, they announced it last week and it finally came out today, and that's what y'all see behind me. Whoops, go back. They brought they put Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green on the eShop, so it's on both Switch and Switch 2, $20 each. And yeah, so like I said, that is why my wife is trying to steal the Switch because she wants to play that. So I was like, let me talk about it real quick, then I'll hand it off to you. But man, it was already going down memory road when we bought it this morning, downloaded it, and then like booting it up and hearing that music and seeing the visuals and the art style and everything. It was like, oh man, like taking us back. Because this came out. This was, let's see, what year? 2004. So I was 14 years old when this game came out. And I thought I still had the cartridge somewhere. I don't know if I lost it over the years or what. Or if it maybe went bad or something, whatever, and I got rid of it. I don't remember. But yeah, so fond memories of that. I look forward to, hopefully, if my wife doesn't fully take over my Switch too, um, getting a chance to go down memory road and stuff again. Because it has been a while since I've been like super duper deep into Pokemon, which we'll kind of touch on in a second. Let me go ahead and get this Switch 2 off to my wife. All right, the handoff has been made. Side note, shout out to this random person on Twitter. I just happened to come across this what's her name? Yaika. So it was a VTuber. But they were telling the story about how uh they had in like their like Throne or Amazon, whatever it's called, Throne wish card, a bunch of different stuff, whatever, including Pokemon Pokopia. Well, one of their supporters bought it for them, but Pokopia is only on Switch 2, and this person didn't have a Switch 2, and her or their grandfather surprised them with a Switch 2 for their 21st birthday. which is just super dope. It's always cool just seeing just like random feel good, wholesome stories like that where, they had somebody in their community gift them a copy of a game that they're highly anticipating, and then it was like, well, crap, this person doesn't even have the console yet to play the game, and then Grandpa came through with the huge W, super early birthday gift for them. So just shout out to that little story I came across. But yeah, so since we're going down memory lane, like I said, with FireRed and LeafGreen being out on Switch 2 right now, man, it's crazy to think that this series has been around for 30 years. Of course, 28 for those of us in the U.S. because it came out 1996 in Japan and 98 here in the U.S. Red and green in Japan, red and blue here in the U.S. And I've mostly, at least from what I can remember, I think I've mostly been there since the beginning. Obviously, the TV show back in the day or whatever, the original Pokemon animated show. Um, Loved watching that. Grew very attached to that cast of characters and stuff, and watched it for several years, all throughout high school and stuff. From elementary, because I would have been about 8, 9 years old roughly when it came here, and then watching it all throughout high school. So from the Kanto region, Johto, uh, Hoenn, all that stuff, man. Like I said, specifically those first few regions and stuff. And I really kind of got into the games and stuff because of my friends and stuff growing up. Because, like, personally, I was never able to access or have access and afford a lot of games and stuff growing up. But, one of my classmates, whatever, he ended up getting one for me. Now, in hindsight, this is 30 years later. Hopefully, statute of limitations. Uh, you know, uh, he got it through nefarious ways and stuff. So that's how I ended up with it, and thus began my Pokemon journey. Um, and I still have it. Where is it? My green Game Boy Color. Still have it. Um, Man, it's kind of crazy, like how small this feels and stuff, man. Like it felt like as a kid, the whole world was in your hands, man. Just like being able to play games and stuff on this, man, was like so freaking cool. Um, but yeah, so I've had it since the series pretty much began here, and I can't remember. I can't remember. I can't remember which one I had got first, red or blue. Over time, I eventually had both of them, but I can't remember the specific one I had. And then, of course, yellow, still have it. I think I don't know. I haven't tried to boot it up in many years, but yeah, still got my Pokemon Yellow. Still got Gold. Still got Crystal. Now, Pokemon Crystal, this one holds a very special place in my heart for multiple reasons. So, I was 11 when Crystal came out, I believe. Let me double check some dates. Okay, yeah, it came out, yeah, July 30th, 2001, which I'm kind of curious what day of the week that was. Yeah, so this is crazy. So, July 30th, 2001 was a Monday. But this was the first Pokemon game I was able to buy with my own money. So, like I said, I was 11 years old. This was towards the end of the summer, but I still to this day remember going with my mom and my aunt uh, to Walmart They're in good old Jasper, where I grew up at. But we needed to go to the store, and it was like, well, while we're going there, whatever, hey, I saved up my money. I want to buy this game. And so we went there, and we went straight to electronics. I'll never forget like how excited I was walking in that Walmart, going to the electronics section with my own money, asking for it. They had it. I bought it. And after we bought it, my mom obviously needed to go start doing her grocery shopping. I was like, hey, uh, because I think I can't remember if I did it immediately or if I walked around with her for a little bit, something, whatever. I don't know, but I remember having the game in my hands, and then after a little bit, being like, hey, do you need help or whatever? And then she basically let me go because she knew I just want to just go sit out in the car and boot up the game. And she was like, yeah, you're fine, you can go. And just like going back into the car because my aunt just sat in the car uh and stuff. And so I just sitting in the back seat, got my Game Boy out, booting it up, and the journey beginning and stuff. And I'll never also forget like the first time I went in the tall grass. Well, first of all, the intro with the unknown Pokemon, all that stuff. But the first time I went to the tall grass, ran into a Pidgey, and then it was animated where when you saw it, it flapped its wings. I was like, yo. And for context, for people like what is the big deal? Like, y'all gotta remember this is 2001. This is still super early internet, so I think aside from maybe just like seeing the box art or whatever, I don't think I have really seen anything else about the game. Like I said, maybe like a basic TV commercial, but I truly think it was literally just me seeing and knowing the cover art and that the game was coming or whatever. But it's like it ain't like nowadays. There was no social media. There wasn't even YouTube yet. Like there was no YouTube, no social media, nothing to really be spoiled about all this stuff like how it is nowadays. So like getting that genuine excitement of seeing that and stuff was like super cool, and these moments will forever stick with me. And obviously even kind of going back to just Gen 2 in general with silver and gold, like the reveal of them having the Kanto region in the game. Once again, this is what 2000, so the year before, whatever, and it's like you play through all of Johto, go through Mount Silver, and then it's like, well, you play through Johto, then going back home and finally being able to surf to the right from your house, going across the water, getting access to the area, and then looking at the map and discovering this is the Kanto region from the original game. So you have freaking two regions in the game. And so it's like not having that spoiled as a kid, man, that was amazing. Like getting to now revisit this old area that I hadn't been in since since the original games and stuff, and seeing what stuff is still the same that I remember, but then stuff that's changed, like Koga's daughter now taking over his gym and all these different things. Like, yeah, that moment from like early Pokemon, those first couple of generations before the internet started really building up, whatever, were so special because it was just the sense of discovery and the sense of mystery and rumors. Like, yo, in the original games, if you can, move that truck at the port, Mew is underneath the truck, and all this stuff, and like the all the glitches and missing go and doing the glitches for like infinite items and all that stuff, like surfing up and down Cinnabar Island and all that stuff, man. Like so many awesome memories. And like shout out to Serebii and its creator Joe Merrick. He had recently did like an article or interview, I think with Polygon or somebody, where he was talking about it, but like Serebii back in those days was like the go-to place for me to get Pokemon news and information. Which, speaking of which, okay, never mind. I couldn't find it. I thought I had somewhere. I still have a bunch of my papers and notes and stuff that because growing up, sorry y'all, growing up, I didn't have internet in my house. I didn't have a computer at home, and so the way I got a lot of the stuff, information was I would walk down to the library, and either print off notes, cheat codes, or different things, whatever, or tips and stuff, or write it down, hand write it down on a piece of paper and stuff, whatever, then take it home, and then try it and stuff. Or, depending on what grade and stuff, whatever I was in, some classes I had access to a computer to go to Serebii and different stuff to look up stuff about Pokemon and things like that. But yeah, man, it was such a magical time, and it was so hard to, because obviously everything is so physically connected to where it's not like nowadays where you can easily, text or voice chat and stuff, whatever, to kind of, sneak past your teachers or hide from your parents, whatever. Oh, you're playing a game or whatever the case may be, or whatever. It's like, man, it's like link cables, like come on now, like if your desk are close enough, we might be like a link cable from desk to desk across our hold on, this isn't for this is for my this is the one for I think for my SP, I believe. Yes. Yeah. This is the one for the SP. I don't know if I still got my one for my Game Boy. I had one at some point in time. But yeah, man, like running link cables across your desk to try to trade and stuff in school or during class. Uh yeah, man, just so many fun memories and stuff back around that time. And then the next kind of like milestone moment for me was oof was this bad boy, which let me double check the date on this as well. So anywho, it came out in 2003, but yeah, this one was another pivotal one. This was a big birthday present. I remember it was like during the holidays. So my birthday is January 6th. A lot of times growing up, just because we didn't have a lot of money, whatever, a lot of times, um, some of my gifts, some of my bigger gifts I might have gotten were like, hey, this is a Christmas and birthday gift, which I was cool with because I'm like, my birthday is like 2 weeks after Christmas, so I ain't tripping. So, shout out to my sister in law. Kind of asked me, what I wanted, and I was like, I would really like, because I think I had a regular Game Boy Advance, I think, and then I saw this one. I didn't have a SP yet, but then I saw this special edition half black, half silver one, and I was like, yo, I want that one. And she was like, are you sure? And I was like, yep. So she got it for me. It was $100, whatever, back when it came out. Which hell, that's a still nowadays. But yeah, so that kind of kept me going on my next journey of Pokemon, and of course, obviously the game changer thing with this one having a rechargeable battery, so you just plugged it up and stuff. Unlike most of the previous stuff where you had to have like literal batteries to charge it, and it had the freaking backlit screen. Now I'm trying to think. Yeah, this is fully dead, but anywho, but yeah, so all this to say, Pokemon has been with me all throughout the years. Of course, a remake of one of my favorites. I got still got my little Soul Silver box and stuff here. And the only other game I found aside from the Game Boy ones I have is my Pokemon Diamond version. Um, but yeah, I don't really know what happened to a lot of my other ones over the years. And last little thing I'll talk about too, because going back to stuff growing up, I never got into the actual card game stuff with Pokemon. I just liked collecting them, and so I think I've had most of these since I was a kid. I don't know if the dates on here is how you can tell when they were made. If so, these all say like 90, like late 90s, 2000, or whatever. But yeah, so I still have all these cards. So another funny little story, along with what I was talking about earlier, like link cable from desk to desk in class or across the aisle on the school bus or whatever, to play battle trade and stuff. I'll never forget one time, and this was probably I was probably not a teenager yet, so I was probably maybe like fourth, fifth grade, something like that. I think I'm leaning more towards like fourth, like third or fourth, maybe. But uh, but I remember I had two humongous stacks of cards in my front pockets, whatever. And one day at school, I was sitting at my desk, whatever, talking to my buddy and trying to show off, whatever. But of course, it's so many cards, and think about like if you know, think about how small most like third or fourth graders are. And then if you have a stack of cards that are thicker than this or about this thick in a third grader's pant pocket, you guys see where this is going to go. So I'm at my desk and I'm trying to get them out to show my buddy, and then they just spill all over the floor. And I can't remember which teacher it was, but obviously my cards got confiscated. It was like, oh, Mr. Robert. I was sobbing and boo-hooing and stuff, and so they gave them back to me after class, thankfully. But yeah, that memory just always sticks with me of just like trying to sneak them out, all these cards, and they just spill all over the freaking floor. but uh, but yeah, man, those were the days, and so I'm kind of looking through. Oops, sorry. Let me go back to the list. Hold on. Let me look at this list of all the games. Okay, so let's kind of walk through all of the games. So I'm on Serebii.net. So over here on the right side, I know it's super small. Hold on. Let me see. Nah, it's not letting me. Just trying to see if I can zoom in. Let's see. Okay, that'll work. So regarding the game, so I'm trying to see kind of like where things kind of started like falling off for me, and like the little gaps and stuff I have. So obviously, the original red, blue, yellow. Um, let's see, Gen 2. Yeah, Crystal. I played all of those. Gen 3. Yep, everything with that. Ruby, Sapphire, Fire, Red, Leaf, Green, Emerald. Um, didn't really play many of the side stuff. That's kind of what I'm kind of going through. I've played like some of like the mystery dungeon games over the years, but not many of them. Let's see, Gen 4, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver. So growing up, I always got at least one of the two games. A lot of times I eventually maybe ended up with the other one, but most of the time I always picked one of the two. Like I said, for Gen 1, like I said, I'm pretty sure it was probably red, and then of course I got yellow. Gen 2, I originally got silver, and then crystal. I got gold now. Um, Gen 3, I had originally picked Sapphire. Out of Ruby and Sapphire, I picked Sapphire. And then out of FireRed and LeafGreen, I feel like I I feel like I had maybe originally picked Leaf Green, I think. And then I had Emerald. Like I said, I never played Coliseum, the side stuff like Coliseum, Gale of Darkness, any of that stuff. The Mystery Dungeon stuff, yeah. I think I played Pokemon Ranger. I'm pretty sure I played Pokemon Ranger. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I had at least at least tried it out or something. So yeah, I had to kind of double check that one. So let's see. So Gen 4, Diamond and Pearl. I had got Diamond. I had Platinum. I got Soul Silver. Let's see. Side games. Let's see. I don't know if I really got a minute. Did I get Mystery Dungeon? Yeah. I got Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Time, I believe. So that's Gen 4. Gen 5. So let's see. So Gen 5, what year is this? Black and white. So so okay. So by this point we're entering into young adult Robert. Because like I said, going by US dates. Red and Blue came out in '98, so I was 8 years old. Then Ghost of and Crystal, I was still, young, 9, 10 years old. Ruby and Sapphire, I was just becoming a teenager. And then Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, all that stuff that was for high school. Now, during this time, whatever, Pokemon was kind of more of like a secret enjoyment thing, whatever, because pretty much like once we kind of really got through middle school, I don't think I wasn't really like openly playing Pokemon at school and middle school and stuff. I don't think. Um, but yeah, so like I said, Platinum was the last one when I was still technically in high school. That was 2008. So I'm trying to think, I'm trying to remember for a long time a lot of these games were staggered. So okay, that's right. So it's 2008 in Japan, September 2008 in Japan. We didn't get until March 2009. So okay, so that's what I was thinking. So yeah, so by this point, I'm 19 years old, and so I remember because this came out the same time as I believe the DSi, because I believe they came out on the same day. Let's see, Nintendo launch, DS Lite, DSi, April 2009. April 2009 for the DSi. And what did I say? And Platinum was March 2009. So, yeah, April 22nd, March 22nd, April 5th. So, yeah, they were practically in like the same week, I believe. Because I remember walking to Walmart to go and buy both of these things. So yeah, so very very exciting times for this time frame. But yeah, like I said, I am now young adult Robert. Off to college and stuff, and so yeah, so but I was still buying them. Hard Gold and Soul Silver, Black and White. Have we? Yeah, we still had staggered launches then. It was September 2010 Japan, March 2011 for us. So I was 21 when those came out. I had got no, that's X and Y. Let's see, Black and White. I think I probably got black version. I think, and then things kind of started to slow down here for me a little bit. I think I had got Black 2, I believe. Yeah. I had got Black 2, X and Y. I had got X. That was 2013, so I was 23. Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. So, and to clarify, so up until X and Y, I bought and beat all of them. Whatever version I got, I at least beat it, or whatever. Now, this is kind of where things started to like really slow down. So, Mega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, um, I had bought that one, or did I? Because this is 2014, so I was 24. think I was just meeting my wife at the time. So let's see, this was November 2014. There's a chance I might not have. Nah, I feel like I did though. I feel like I did buy one of these. Um, Now, real quick, fun thing too, going back to X and Y. So during this time, so I had just finished college and moved up here and was living with my sister and her family. So my sister's 4 kids, my nieces and nephews. So if I'm 23, they aren't even teenagers yet. They're still. I think I'm trying to think. Lord, Uncle Robert trying to do some math on ages. Let's see. That's what 2013. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so the older ones were just becoming like teens and preteens and stuff back then. Now, this is probably one of the most expensive, I think, if I'm remembering right. Pokemon launches. No, it wasn't this one. It was Sun and Moon. But I remember I was working at GameStop and I took my nephew. I took Isaiah. Shout out to Isaiah. I know you listen to this sometimes. I took him and his best friend Preston because I was working at GameStop and obviously we were doing a midnight release, and so I still got pictures on Facebook or whatever back then of them being there for the launch of the games, whatever. I think I bought him and his friend a 3DS XL, I think, or whatever, or whatever model was the special edition ones, which I think I might still have that somewhere. But yeah, so buying that, so that was like a very special time and memory to have with my nephew and stuff. But then yeah, like I said, it started to kind of slow down after that because by this point, like something, me and my wife, kids, having a family, starting a family and stuff, whatever. But yeah, so I think Alpha Sapphire, like I said, I think I had bought it, but I for sure don't think I had finished it. And then from there, it was just kind of like a gradual slowdown. So Sun and Moon was the most expensive Pokemon launch I ever did because by now I'm 26. I got kids, but also still being Uncle Robert. So, um, and by this point, I had a really good job. So I ended up buying, I think, I think collectively maybe 6 copies of these games on launch day because I bought Moon for myself. I think my wife, hey, I bought Sun for my wife. And then each of my nieces and nephews, I think it might have been split evenly, whatever. But either way, I walked away with 6 copies of Pokemon that day. Um, and stuff. Cause oh yeah, cause this was also the year of Pokemon Go. So pausing on 2016 real quick, which is freaking a decade ago now, which is crazy to think. Okay, yeah. Sun and Moon came out November 2016, and Pokemon Go was. Let me see. Let me double check something real quick. Pokemon Go. What was the release date or release window? I'm pretty sure that was summertime. Pokemon Go. Let's see. What time frame are we looking at? Yep, July. July. Yes, because I think I was still working at Samsung inside of Best Buy at the time. But I remember there was this big park near me, whatever, and they did a Pokemon Go event. So I went and got all my nieces and nephews, brought them and stuff, and uh, we had an awesome day. Just like that period of Pokemon and that era was like peak world peace. Peak world peace because it was just like people going outside, being active, all this stuff you seeing. It's just like everywhere you go, people are walking around on their phones, sharing in the joy of Pokemon and stuff. Man, it was truly special. But yeah, but this is where, like I said, my fall off like really started to happen because I never finished Sun, or I never finished Moon, and then I didn't even buy Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon because Robert, you didn't even finish the last one. And so yeah, it was just a thing of just being honest with myself, whatever. Starting to be honest at this point. But yeah, so I didn't even buy Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon. I bought Let's Go Eevee. So by this point, I'm 28. I bought Let's Go Eevee. No, Let's Go Peach. No, I'm pretty sure I bought Eevee. I think. But the Let's Go games coming out 2018 or whatever, same thing. Bought them, didn't finish them. And then Sword and Shield, 2019, I had got Sword, I believe. Didn't finish it. I honestly don't think I even played that much of it. But yeah, definitely didn't finish it. So obviously I didn't play any of the DLC. Legends Arceus in 2022. So I'm 32 years old now. Um, that was a very special release just because of like it's a new thing. But the pattern continues. I never finished it, but early in the game though, it was the most excited I had been playing Pokemon in a very long time. And honestly, it was probably the first time that I truly felt like fear of like, yo, like the sense of danger I got in that game was like nothing else I had really ever experienced in the series. And that was super dope just because it's like you actually had Pokemon that could physically chase you around, attack you directly and stuff, whatever. And like it was so crazy. But yeah, like I said, sadly I didn't, stick around with it or whatever, which sucked because it's like it brought back one of my all-time favorite starters, Cyndaquil, but I didn't see it through. And then later that same year, 2022, Scarlet and Violet came out, which I didn't even buy. So Scarlet and Violet was the first generation I bought nothing for. Like I said, bought everything up to Sun and Moon. I didn't get the sequels. Got Let's Go. Got Sword and Shield. Didn't get any of the DLC. Got Arceus, but then did not play Scarlet and Violet at all. And that was mainly because, for one, it's like looking back at the last couple of games, it's like, man, Robert, it's like you haven't even finished any of them. And then, of course, the technical problems and stuff that was happening at the launch of Scarlet and Violet, so I stayed away from it. And then Legend Z8 comes out last year, 2025, when I was 35 years old. And so once again, I just completely just skipped out on it because I was like, yeah, I'm just like from seeing the gameplay and streams and stuff of it or whatever, I'm like, yeah, this doesn't really seem interesting to me or whatever. And so thus we loop back around to uh, what I talked about earlier with shoot, what is the new game? Winds and Waves. Talking about those games and stuff. And so it's like I right now I feel a renewed enthusiasm towards these series and stuff. And so we'll see, because when it comes out next year, I'll be 37. So we'll see how I feel then. But I am right now excited to kind of jump back in. I would like to circle back to some of those games that I kind of bought but never finished, whatever, and just kind of just see them through. Just because it's like when they did this for the 30th anniversary thing this week, they sorry, they did all these cool logos for every single Pokemon. And so obviously it starts getting to a point. It's like, okay, it's like all these early, you know, like 4 or 5 generations. I'm like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, I recognize all of these. But then it's like I keep going down, and then eventually it starts getting a little bit foggy. Cause let's see, where are we at now? Okay, oh yeah. So yeah, all the ape different Pokemon and stuff. So yeah, I still, okay, yeah, I still remember this generation, but it's like this is kind of where things slowly started to fall apart for me and stuff. So okay, yeah, black and white generation. Yep, yep, that generation. And then, because we're well over 1,000 freaking Pokemon now, and then as I got towards this bottom, it's a lot of them of like, yo, I haven't even seen a lot of these freaking Pokemon and stuff. But so I wouldn't mind going back and trying to play those games and stuff. Like I said, just so I can kind of feel connected again, because I do miss that sense, of at least, even though obviously I don't remember every single name of every Pokemon, but at least like, oh yeah, I've seen that one or whatever. And it's like lately I'm seeing a bunch of stuff. I'm like, I've never even seen you. So who knows? But I'm gonna try to play, some FireRed and LeafGreen and stuff, and kind of see how things go from there. And then, we'll see this flamingo Pokemon. I don't think I've ever even seen this dude. but but yeah, man. So that's a long way of me saying been with Pokemon for a freaking long time. Rocking my little Charmander shirt today. Um, but this series is very special and was there for me through a lot of stuff growing up. Because, like I said, didn't have a lot, but having Pokemon and being able to connect with friends and stuff through that, and go on these little adventures and different things like that. It's like that is why those early games are so special to me. The sense of discovery, and I remember in Crystal with the unknown ruins, and then with Gen 3 with like I still remember like surfing all around through the Hoenn region, and the freaking like the underwater caves and stuff, whatever like that, just being, because like I said, once again, there's no YouTube and stuff, whatever, no online guides like that. And so just kind of like discovering stuff, and using the little bit of information I can get from Serebii or Game Facts and stuff, and then hunting around, and like I said, feeling like you truly stumbled across these underwater caves and all these mysteries and all this stuff, man. It was just so cool. And so it would be dope to get some of that sense of discovery back, but due to the nature of online and social media and stuff, whatever, that's a little bit harder nowadays. But saying all that to say, I've been talking a long time, whatever. So I appreciate y'all, for those of y'all that are sticking with me going down memory lane. But let me know, what is some of y'all's favorite games and stuff. What has been some of y'all's favorite memories? As we celebrate 30 years of Pokemon, what is your favorite games, your favorite game series, some of your favorite Pokemon, all that stuff, man. And actually, one last thing I want to do, let me check something real quick. Okay, so let's kind of look through this. So going gen by gen, um, let's see, Gen 1, I think I for sure it was always between Charmander and Squirtle. Um, I think I probably ended up going with Charmander most of the time, but shout out to Squirtle though. Of course, Yellow with Pikachu was a pretty cool thing to kind of have that sense of connection to the show and stuff. Gen 2, Cyndaquil all day, pretty much like my all-time favorite starter of all the games. Let's see, Gen 3, it was Trico. Shout out to Sceptile. And I think, yeah, yep, Sceptile Jr., I believe. When I was like doing breeding and stuff with the Pokemon. Let's see, Gen 4, definitely went with Piplup. Yeah, because you're freaking penguin. How could you not? Oh, let's see, Gen 5. I think I ended up going with Oshawott. I believe so. I think it was Oshawott is who I went with that one for that's Pokemon Black and White. So Gen 6, which was X and Y. Oh yeah, I definitely went with Froakie. Yeah, Gen 6 was Froakie for X and Y. All right, so now we're kind of starting to reach the tail end of the parts that I'm, attached to. But Gen 7, which is Sun and Moon, I went with the Rowlet. Like, come on now, freaking owl with the leaf bow tie. How could you not? And his final evolution is a freaking dope looking owl with the hood and a bow and arrow. Yeah. But all three of these were pretty solid. The cat was pretty dope. Litten. It was lit. All right, so let's see. So yeah, so Sword and Shield Gen 8. I went with Sobble. Yeah, but like I said, I didn't even finish this one. And then let's see. Legends Arceus, of course, I went with Cyndaquil. How could I not? And then yeah, I didn't even freaking get to play these or whatever, or didn't play them, I should say. So Gen 9, Scarlet and Violet, I didn't even play these games, but I was gonna be getting a Quack. So you come on, a dope looking duck with a little water swoosh in the hair. Um, let's see, Legend ZA, I probably would have went with Totodile out of these three. Yeah. And now we're at Gen 10, Wind and Waves. And like I said, I'm probably going to go with Gekwa. But I'm like the Brout, just because of the little leaf anger eyebrows and stuff look pretty dope. But I think I'm probably going to go with Gekwa, the little water gecko thing. But yeah, man. So I've talked a lot. It's noon. On my day off, I had as I kind of wrap this up, it's been extremely, extremely, extremely busy at work the last few weeks and stuff. And so, kind of like looking at the calendar, I'm like, we have some big projects coming up these first few weeks of March. And so I was like, you know what? I was like, the Pokemon Day stream is happening or whatever. And I need to kind of like have a day to kind of just like chill or whatever. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take the day off, and I love taking a payday off because I immediately get the 8 hours I'm taking tonight right back because we get our PTO occurs every payday or whatever. So it's like it just immediately, just cancels out or whatever, so to speak. Um, and yeah, so yeah, it was cool to just be home, get the kids to school nice and early, get myself a nice breakfast. Shout out Waffle House, and then yeah, just enjoy all the Pokemon love and memories and stuff. But yeah, so I hope y'all enjoyed this Pokemon filled episode and road down memory lane. Like I said, things are ramping up. Like I said, this weekend, I know a lot of y'all are playing Resident Evil Requiem, checking out Marathon. Those of y'all that get into the Horizons beta thing. Pokopia is next week. Um, and of course, Marathon's full launch. And then like Crimson Desert is in a few weeks as well. And stuff like that. So yeah, so things are ramping up. I need to find a movie to watch soon because I think my little coupon about to expire. I think next week or in a couple of weeks, Netflix is putting the first two episodes of the season 2 of One Piece live action. It's gonna be in theaters um, in a couple of weeks, whatever. But I think most of the theaters are other sides of the Metroplex for me, whatever. And it's on a Tuesday, so I'm like, if it was a Friday, screw it. I would drive to wherever. But I'm like, yeah, doing that on a Tuesday, I don't know. So we'll see what I think about. But yeah, things are ramping up. So I hope everybody out there is doing well and stuff. And yeah, so the other things I want to just mention really quickly that I don't really have too much to say on, but it's just like end of last week, like the back to back news of like Sony and PlayStation shutting down Blue Point Studios and stuff, and then the following day, freaking Phil Spencer retires and Serebii resigns from Xbox. So they got whole new leadership and stuff over there. So all that stuff has been crazy, but I don't have a lot to really speak in depth on those, but just like following all the news and tracking all the information and stuff has just been a whirlwind of a week. But hey, things are kind of nice and chill in Pokemon Land and stuff here. But yeah, so next time y'all see me, we will be in March. Will be the month of my 5th-year anniversary of doing this podcast. So, like I mentioned before, a lot of y'all have already been seeing changes to like my new logo and different stuff like that. Still got some other things I still need to tweak and do over the coming weeks and stuff, but I'm excited, man. Like year 5, it is freaking crazy that 5 years have passed since I've been doing this podcast, but I have a lot of dope manga that I've been reading and reviewing that y'all will start seeing immediately early next week and stuff, and in the weeks and months and stuff to come. So look forward to those episodes and those conversations. And who knows what else I might be cooking up. But as always, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all's time going down memory lane and stuff with me. But I'm gonna head out and to try to enjoy the rest of my off day and stuff. So, but as always, treat yourself to something nice. Read some manga. Uh, Lord, watch some anime, TV shows, and movies. Play some video games, and of course, live your best life. And with that, I am out. Happy Pokemon Day, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be easy. Peace. Man, man, man.